Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Truth Podcast. I am Akin Sam, and with me is
Blessing Yogo, yours truly,
and
Mary Augustine. Welcome to the Truth Podcast today. It's so good to have you here with us again and again. Thank you for always doing this with us every single time. So welcome today.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys are wondering who is this handsome ebony,
that's if they can see.
dark. Yeah, for those that can see, for those that will check us out on Instagram, go to other social media handles and see. So we have somebody in the house today that will do justice to a very, very lovely topic that we all need in this time of our lives. I'm talking about none other than Dr. Enoch Haruna. Oh my, drum roll!
Welcome. So it's so
Yes.
good to have you here with us. You know, this year, even though we've not been keeping some of our promises, we promise to actually bring resource persons that will do justice to a lot of topics and, you know, build capacity, you know, stretch our wings, really.
Yeah.
And we're doing one of that today because the topic we have today is one that really fostered that, right?
Yeah.
So today we are talking about capacity building. Capacity building. Capacity
Okay,
building.
yeah.
but to you, what is capacity building? Though?
In few words, capacity building is stretching. It's stretching. It's stretching.
That I love the way she
I
said
mean,
it. In few words, it's stretching your capacity. I wish you would
stretching
see the
your
doctor's facial expression. For those of you that do not know, he's a doctor in strategy and leadership.
Yeah.
And of course, he has 2 masters in IT and MIS. So you guys know that we're here for business.
Yes, for business, for business, for real.
You know, when you started with capacity building, I think because I'm a sporty person, the first thing that came to my mind was stadium. We are building capacity.
Okay.
Yes, a 50,000 capacity for.
For stadium.
But then if you're a church person too,
Yeah.
1,000
1,000 capacity.
auditorium, you know.
Yeah, the hand space.
Yeah.
That
to
Exactly.
occupy.
To occupy.
To take in.
It's more like saying you are building yourself to be able to take in more things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll hand over to the expert. Sir,
For real.
what is capacity building?
So at this point, I don't think I'm the expert because we have had very beautiful definitions, but I'm going to align with her also in terms of the fact that capacity talks about stretching you. But I like to play with words, right? And the word capacity comes in the same compound word with capability. So when I say what is your capability, I mean that what can you do? So when I'm saying capacity building, I'm saying I'm trying to build you to be able to do something. That's my own definition of capacity building. Yeah, I'm trying to stretch you to be able to do something.
Wow.
Something you probably
Cannot do before, yes.
or something that you've been doing on a low level, but now
Scaling it up.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Okay. So how important is this capacity building? Because if we're all doing well before, we all
Yes.
have capacity to some extent, why do we then need to build capacity?
So I think it's important because wherever there's chaos, there's a lack of capacity. So the biggest problem in Nigeria is lack of capacity. We can deceive ourselves all we want.
So there's chaos in
There's chaos. No, I mean, I say it any day, anytime. I mean, if you have been privileged to travel or even watch on TV, Nigeria is one of the places where things are not, it doesn't even make sense, the way we operate. And the truth about it is that we don't have, and let me put it this way. So we have people who have capacity but are not privileged to be in that place.
Okay.
And we have people who are privileged to be in the place of leadership but don't have capacity. Do you understand? I'll give you an example. There's a popular phrase I like, and when we say something is not rocket science. Leading, getting things done is not rocket science. But the problem is that the people that ought to do it have refused to stretch themselves to the point that they can actually be able to do it. So yes, I believe that the reason why there's chaos, the reason why anything is not working is a lack of capacity. So it's without a doubt very important in wherever we are or whatever we do. And let me digress a bit to give you an example, right? So, and it's a very naughty example, but I just want to bring it home to just make it as simple as possible, right? The difference between, have you ever had a case where you see that you hear somebody says that this guy is cheating on his wife, on this girl, and this guy is not as fine as his wife? What is the difference?
Yeah, the other guy has built capacity.
I didn't say it, you said it.
He has built more capacity.
He has built more capacity. It's very ironic. But I see this every time, even having engaged with a couple of couples in the past, friends, and you always find that it's very interesting how the person the man is cheating with is usually somebody who is not as beautiful. But the truth is that educated. But there's other capacity gaps, and which will now take me to where I'm one of the things I want to talk about. But maybe
before you forget it, maybe you can just.
I can just say it. Also, I believe that one of the biggest problems is our approach to capacity building. I'll give you an example. An organization says that there's capacity for shortage. We need to, as usual, we have a budget. Let's train our people. Let's get them to be better. And we go and get somebody like me who comes and just does training. While that sounds like we're doing the right thing, but we're actually doing the wrong thing. The first stage in capacity building framework is actually doing a needs analysis.
To evaluate the people, their needs and what areas they need to build capacity in.
Because it is so easy to assume that we all have the same capacity shortfall, but that's wrong. Where you need more scale up from is different from where I need more scale up from. So we need to, while organizations might not have the privilege to have the budget to do one-on-one capacity building, but let it be that whatever we are scaling our capacity on should be what is defined as the biggest needs. So if 4 of us make up the organization and a need analysis was done, and we found out that 3 of us are not eloquent, and we're a customer service company, but we realized that a couple of us have other issues. So, but amongst our issue, when 4 things were asked to tick, it was found out that 3 of us said our biggest problem is eloquency. Yeah. So it means that the capacity building should focus on what is the biggest need. Do you understand? So while the wife that is beautiful has her capacity in the fact that she's facially beautiful, there are other things she doesn't have capacity. And guess what? That is what the man might be in need for. And that is what the side chick has.
Wow.
Yeah, but let me not shake that table. Let's move ahead.
Wow, thank you so much.
I like the fact that you're able to hit the nail even for organizations. And then, can you hit the nail for individuals?
Good. So also back to individuals, right? And this is major issues major mistakes we do. And I'll give you an example. It's easy to go with the bandwagon. I'll give you an example now. Everybody's talking tech.
Yeah.
So everybody believes that capacity building means defining a tech tool. Can I shock you with something? I have multiple degrees in tech. My undergraduate degree was actually IT.
Yeah.
I have a master's in IT. I'm currently doing a PhD in computer science. But with all of these things, I do not care to code. Not that I cannot code. Yeah. I code in a couple of languages. But it's not what is for me. Do you understand? I understand my niche in the whole technological world and I stand on it. I understand that people management is one of the things that is my passion. Yeah. So while you have in the technological world, a lot of people, coders, programs don't have a balanced life. So they burn out easily. So you have a very powerful back-end programmer, but because he doesn't understand what it means to burn out, he burns out and you lose him in the organization and the organization is at a standstill. So for me, I understand that in all of this, because I understand the lingo, I understand the impact, I understand what it means to focus on how to get better in skills, I bring that as my own niche. So I'm not crazy, but as an individual, it's so easy for us to just jump with the bandwagon. Everybody believes that capacity building is in tech, so everybody's trying to learn a tech skill. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I think he even just answered one very vital question. Because I was like, in capacity building, I used to feel that, look, there are 3 skills people really need. Management skills, IT skills, I can't remember the third one, marketing skills. I always say that. So I don't know if that's, so now this is not generic. It shouldn't be generic from what you're saying.
So,
or is there
so there's nothing wrong with what you are saying. It's a beautiful direction. You should have a knowledge about all of these 3 major skills. But we're not talking about narrowing it down. Don't get distracted to not narrow it down to something that you're not very much excited about, or you don't even have the skill to actually go further in.
Yes.
But I agree with you that you should have some idea about these 3 major things. A wise man is one who has an idea about everything. But majors on one thing.
Okay, so we're going to ask, what practical strategies or methods can individuals actually use, to see what direction they should go in capacity building?
Okay, please, can I don't know if this question is going to make sense. It just occurred to me in my head now. So, someone who lacks, I want to bring it a bit personal, like humanly, I'm trying to relate it to a human. Someone who has a problem, who is not patient enough in workspace now, patient enough, and who also lack, not like lack, but deficiency in emotional intelligence, like a little of it. How does this person build capacity, like grow, build it in a way that they become you know that they've improved.
So I'm very excited to see that, because I think like a month plus ago, I did an interpersonal training for organization, right? And the truth about it is, and I'm happy you use one of the most important tools for that, which is emotional intelligence. It's not enough to have IQ, to have that intelligence, but I think it's more. One of the things we do with people is to sit down and ask them, you need to understand, first of all, are they traits that got the person to be very I don't want to say antagonistic, but very
introvert.
Not necessarily
Easily irritated.
So these are not introverts. So introverts are, and if I get your question right, these are people who usually not want to just be on their own, but they don't want you to even reach. And a co-introverted person, if you reach out to them, is not irritated by it. But the picture she painted is someone.
Patient with you, but
the picture she painted is someone that is irritated with working with people. Now, for such people, one of the things we do is that sit down with them to understand, first of all, is it a trait? You are a makeup of three things. You're a makeup of where you are coming from, number one. You're a makeup of what you know. And you're a makeup of how you see yourself. These are the three makeups of who you are as a person. And these are my personal theologies, even though picking from different general principles, right? And one of the biggest of all of these three is where you are coming from. I'll give you an example. A man who is from the Connaught believes that the definition of a beautiful woman is a yellow woman.
From the Connaught?
Yes, Connaught.
Ah.
Connaught are usually.
Is that why they usually do all those wicked makeup?
But let's not go there.
So you must be fair.
Fair. That's the definition of a Connaughton in Nigeria.
Beautiful woman.
And if you ask the person why do you think that person is beautiful, they don't know. That's what they grew up with. So the first thing to identify is that, is he a trait case? If it's a trait case, if that person is very antagonistic because they came out from where fighters, let me look back at better word, they are fighters in nature from where they are coming from. They are very, no, don't be my face. No, don't do that to me. What do you mean? Do you understand? So we make them understand that they need to unpack. So that's the first thing to do. But if that's not the case, it can be a case of low self-esteem. But for me, in all of this, the biggest way to work with such person to help them relate more is to show them the importance, the value from working with people. Understand that we are all together for a collective goal. And if you isolate yourself, the goal will not be complete, and you are hurting the organization invariably. So what we do is, after we do first the analysis to understand how the person is that person and be able to point it out to them, we now move to making them understand why it's important to relate with people in general. Now, don't get me wrong, another thing we do in such exercise is also make you understand that in every 100, there's going to be that 1% that is going to be very annoying. So we're not telling you that take rubbish from people generally. That's not balanced teaching. We're saying that understand, arm yourself with enough ammunition to be able to understand how to manage toxic people. Because people who are also like that are people who are coming from toxic organizations, and they come with the fact that, see, everywhere is toxic, work is toxic, so you be a fighter before they fight you.
Yes. So just start the war.
Don't start the war before the war comes to you.
On attack, always
on the attack.
Okay, very good answer there.
Now, so that you've actually shared strategies, on how you can identify such. Now, the next thing is, how then do you build that person?
So there are very many pathways for building, right? Building capacity, right? The first, which is the most popular one, is doing a training. Do you understand? And training has grown. Training has gone beyond somebody coming to organizations. You can do a course online, and all of those things. But another one which is very neglected is actually learning on the job. It's very easily, so there's a word, and I've realized that it's not very popular, which is line manager. Learning from your line manager. It is assumed that your supervisor knows what you are doing. In a sense, right? And one of the things you can learn, one of the easiest way to learn is learning from the person that you are working under. Because the person will teach you things that are not in the script, that are not in the book. You will see things.
Could you relate this to what the Igbo people call the apprenticeship?
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. What's the name of that? What do you call it in Igbo? Indie something, I think. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's a word for it.
Different people call it different things. My place, we call it Imwaiha.
That's a new one, right? But you must understand that there's some tricks you learn beyond the classroom settings, and it happens from the person that is your supervisor. Take it a notch to another angle. Mentorship. Very underrated. I realized that we believe mentorship is more in the church system, but we don't understand that mentorship was not even created in the church system. Mentorship was actually created, the whole word of mentor is the Greek mythology, and it started when a king was about to go to war. And in those days, you could be in war for years. You might die. And he realized that he had a small child. So he had somebody who was like his caregiver when he was young, who understood what it meant to be a king. So he told that person to transfer that knowledge to his son in his absence, just in case he doesn't come back from the war. The son will understand, the capacity will have been built.
Yes, beautiful.
So that man was his mentor, the child's mentor. Are you getting me? So mentorship is very important in building capacity. And this sounds very funny, and this is what I tell people. I have mentors that I take to dinner. I'm not gonna have people that, I mean, they're not small people. They are people that are billionaires. They should be giving me something. But I take them to dinner once in 2 years if I get that opportunity. Because, and I'm not going there with a list of questions. I'm not going there to have a conversation. And in the midst of that conversation, secrets are shared with you that that you are so amazed. These are things that they themselves are so surprised. Have you ever been with somebody and somebody saying something and like, that's so deep, and they want to begin to write? Because they didn't even know that they had that knowledge.
Wow.
So that's another part of our capacity building. Mentorship, very, very important to have a mentor. So for me, while there are many others, the three major ones are learning on the job, supervisor, mentorship, and going through a proper classroom setting. That training, it can be online, it can be physical, to build your capacity.
Okay, permit me. I have a personal question for you
Please.
If you feel uncomfortable.
No, I don't worry.
Anyways, okay, this is the question. Have there been areas, because I know nobody's perfect, and you are coming from somewhere, you've built capacity in some areas too. What areas, looking back, let's say from 7 or 10 years from, ago, that you've built capacity? What areas of your life that you've built capacity that this was not where I'm coming from, this was not who I was before? 7 years ago, if you met this doctor, not then,
like
then.
But what were you like that time? What area were you lacking that moving forward you've actually built capacity?
That's very deep.
That's
and interesting, you actually sprung the word in the conversation, which is one thing I would say I didn't have, and that's emotional intelligence. I think that I lack of a better word, I was a bit naive years back before now. Do you understand? Understanding how to build relationship, understand that life itself is transactional. Yeah, this is, we're too naive to assume that somebody, life is transactional. If somebody is being nice to you, you need to understand that there's an end game to it.
Of course.
Do you understand? So my naiveness didn't make me see a couple of things. So I lost a lot of money, got jilted in business. I have not once, not twice employed people who threw me out of the organization. It's happened to me twice.
Wait. You employed them.
Coup d'etat.
Are you for real?
Not once, not twice, and threw me out of the organization.
Because
they found a way to.
Really
how did you heal
was
from that? How did you take
so you see, and that's the naiveness. That is the naiveness to assume that the fact that somebody is nice to you, somebody buys you lunch, somebody always. It doesn't understand there's a game behind it.
Yeah, what they think.
Transactional is not always bad. That's life.
Yes.
Transactional can be for good also, but you need to be able to understand what is the motivation behind every action to now inform your reaction or the way you deal with that person.
Yes, and how much reservation you should also
have.
Yes, of course.
You must. So for me, I think the owner is being naive to not have that, and that is the bedrock of emotional intelligence. Understanding, being intelligent about the emotions of people, understanding how to relate to them, understanding what is behind what they are doing, and also you relating with them based on what they come to you at. So if I know somebody wants to come to me to learn something and be better than me in the organization, the wise part of me is that I should teach that person. That's the ethical thing to do. But as I teach that person, I should understand that I should put that person on a leash. So I heard somebody say this, and this is not, I heard it directly from him. So I remember meeting a former president of Nigeria one time, right? I asked him a couple of questions. I asked him a question about what motivates him, but I also asked him a question about his strategy. He's the longest president ever. So the longest president in Nigeria was IBB. It was 8 years, but I think his own was 8 years and some months. So making him the longest. We can never have anybody longer. And I did ask him that question, and one of the things he said, and I think I saw it in the book, was the fact that a man is as wise as the people around him. Do you know it's so hard to have the wisest people around you, but wisdom will say that you can't do without them, but you understand how to operate with all of them individually, even the greedy one.
Yeah, there is some wisdom even in that greedy one.
Yes.
After all, Judas was with Jesus.
And he was holding the purse.
He was holding the boss. So you put him in the job, but you understand how to relate. Oh God, I can't believe I'm using such a very un-English word. But you must understand how to. Oh, I lost the word right now. But you must understand how to put them in their place.
And still get the best from them. Right?
Yeah, everybody has the value they bring to the table. You just need to understand how to be careful with them. Understand their level, so to say. Because you, as a leader, you can't do without these people. Yes. You just need to be wise in your relationship with them. So yes, that is you want.
Thank you so much. That was
in toxic relationship. Have you ever seen that situation?
I have.
The guy beat you black and blue, and you are still there.
Love.
You say it's love. The truth about it is that it doesn't mean you are a fool. The person has power over you. The only way to get out of that toxic relationship is separation. And there are levels and laws of separation. So you must help yourself. You must block the person. I am the king of it. There are people who I intentionally block them on social media. Counterparts. I have people who, what's the word I'm using, and I'm going to end on that, right? People of my peers in what I'm doing. I unfollow them on Instagram. Because I don't want to be in that black hole. Where I see somebody, we're all practicing the same business, and the person go and post that he just got Dangote on retainership, and probably I was one who even taught the person how to consult, how to do management consulting, and you now begin to think. That's how people become drunkards, become depressed. So what I do is that, don't get me wrong, I don't hate the person, but I'm blocking the person until time has done me the justice to have capacity to accept the reality of the person is above me.
Yes, of course.
So for me, I would say to you, block. Don't do that psychoanalysis. I can do better. You have no power over me. Sam, I am stronger than... Don't. You are not stronger.
I'm telling you.
If you were stronger, you'll not be there. You are a softie. Tell yourself the truth. And block.
Wow.
Okay.
Sorry, before we end, I have a question to ask you. This is an advice. Like, I want you to advise on companies.
Yeah.
Because I've realized some companies, they do a lot of capacity building, but they realize that their employees begin to leave, begin to start the same business, so they just see themselves at all time not getting to that height of productivity with the level of capacity, investment they have put in the lives of these individuals. I say, no, I'm not doing any training for them again. These people, once I just get, even in schools, like, my mom's in school, like, they have gone for these teachers, they've gone for these teachers, this. After a while, they are going or they're starting their not like you feel bad, but just realize that you haven't gotten the best of.
Can we be honest? You feel bad. We didn't speak about that.
Your money and
has
everything.
gone.
Yeah, your
and
dreams to make
expectation.
exactly. So how do you help that in capacity? Do you stop as an organization now? Do you stop building the capacities of these people, of these teachers, or do you just how do you do? Because you need excellent
So the first thing I would say is that
parents and students,
you are doing yourself a disservice if you say you're not going to invest into the capacity of your staff. Okay. People will come and go. But there are strategies you will employ. The first thing is that there are levels of investment. So if I'm doing a major investment into a staff, I'll have the staff sign a bond. So let me explain what a bond. A bond is basically a document that states that if I pay for your masters for this hour of this period of time, you are going to remain in the organization after this thing. So I'm going to take advantage of the investment I have done, which is standard. So for such level of investment, apply the bond approach to it. But beyond that, I also believe in this, because these are now, we're talking about general training, so maybe not a master's, you pay for somebody to go for capacity building, maybe 100, 200,000, whatever be the case. I'm strong on stepping down trainings. Let me explain to you what I mean. If I invest into you going to learn a particular skill, as you are coming back, which is usual standard in human resources, that you are to onboard the whole organization on what you have learned. If it's a sensitive, if it's a skill-based training, then I'll say your department, maybe it's an accounting thing. But if it's a general training, you have to step it down to every other members of the organization. And all of these trainings are now being documented. And we have all of these trainings that when we have new staff, we do an onboarding. Let me explain. So I took a blessing now. I paid for her to go learn how to do customer service, the laws of customer service. And we have a firm, right? And blessing now comes when she learns that training, she now onboards everybody in the organization, share all the materials that was shared with her. We now all have that knowledge. Now the HR now puts that as part of the onboarding we do for new staff. So when new staffs come, we don't just train them about manuals about the organization. We don't train them about it. We also train them on that skill. And even if blessing has gone, because she has onboarded everybody, there must be somebody in the organization that can train. What happened?
And you also have a manuscript too.
They work with.
So even if after she has trained everybody, we trained the new staff. Everybody when Blessing trained was, maybe everybody she trained have left. What happened? The new staff has that knowledge. So there must be a continuity plan. It must be passed down. It's only, but the truth about it, and this is what I tell most employers, you're not the devil. You cannot hold down people. People must go. Yes. Make peace with it. A wise person is even excited. Because I had this case recently, and it happened to me. An organization I worked, the lady did, and she's not even a Nigerian, she did everything for me to not go. Salary increments, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no. I even gave her an offer. I can do a retainership with you. I can do a consultancy. You have me on call. You don't even need to pay me. You pay me based on the deal. Some form of commission. But she was like, no, you're not going anywhere. You must remain. I want you to remain. I end of the day, she lost me. Yeah, so you must be open to the fact that, and I'm going to use an old slang, Barack, people come, people go. Barack remain. People will leave you. That is advancement. Unless your organization is advancing, maybe you are now part of the Fortune 500, the top organizations, people will go. Make up your mind. Even you yourself, you will go. You can't work forever in the organization as the owner. So make up your mind and create a plan. If it's a very expensive, do the bond. If not, if it's a normal, let there be a step down. Nobody should be a monopoly of knowledge.
Wow, thank you so much. That's yours truly, Dr. Enoch Aruna. He's also a pastor, by the way.
Yes.
You see that? Yeah. No, I couldn't just leave without saying,
bless you. Now I can say bless you.
Okay, this was a good time for me, a good time. Before you came, we were talking about how we need to, make our some of our topics more practical, and that was why the conversation went the way it went, because we need to practicalize, not just listening and talking. Let's practicalize these things. So are there people, before we round it up, you have do you have like a mentorship class or school, something people that are listening to? We don't even know if any of us here probably is interested, but they are not saying anything. No problem, let me ask for them. Is that?
So thank you for that. Yes. So for starters, I founded something that we're working on called the DevX Startup School. That's DEV, then X Startup School, and basically it's going to be an LMI that has courses for people who are going the entrepreneurship pathway. But we're also going to be building skill-based courses for people to actually go there and learn. It's not free, but we're also going to have a couple of free courses and teasers for people. But that is something I would advise, if you can, follow us on social media and be up to date. But even beyond us, let me not be selfish. There are lots of platforms out there. There are a lot of free courses on a lot of these MOCs, Coursera, Udemy, EDX. Do you know even Harvard Business School has an online? Yes. And there are some courses that are free.
Class Central.
Yeah, because so please take advantage. Do you know you can learn how to make bomb on YouTube?
A bomb
on YouTube.
Yeah, actually.
Okay. But so there's nothing you cannot learn online.
There's not build capacity to blow this.
Okay, so that's it. So your Instagram handle, just in case. Let's just give you that
privilege. I'm so happy you guys are selfless.
We don't want not just talking about this thing. Let them follow. Let them follow. Let them read what you drop. Let them be in your space too.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Facebook. I don't understand Twitter. If you want my attention, Instagram, and I'm there. Don't get me wrong. Whatever I post goes on all the place. But I don't feel hot. I know you are the Twitter people, but I'm not a Twitter person.
So what are your handles?
But my handle on all of them is Dr. Enoch Aruna. Dr. by DrEnoch, then HARUNA. So together. Dr. Enoch Aruna, yes. On LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening to us. Yes. It's been another Friday evening, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Please get yourself some pepper soup.
Bye, people. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for listening to the Truth Podcast.